And all right, guys, what is going on? How are you all doing? Welcome back to another podcast on the Creator Chats podcast. Now, first and foremost, if you guys hear a little bit of shower upstairs, it's because my brother's taking one, but he'll be done in about 5 minutes. So let's run it with this podcast. We have the one and only guest, guys, Sam Demma. I'm sure most of you, before he introduces himself, I'm sure most of you guys watching this are aware of it. And if I sound a little out of breath, it's because your boy was running around for like 15 minutes setting this up. So we're going to run it. And yeah, guys, Sam Demma. Little introduction, nothing crazy. Tell them what's up.
Yo, what's up, guys? Again, Sam Demma. I'm 20 years old. I'm a youth speaker. I travel across Canada, speaking to thousands of high school students, specifically about how they can use their gifts and talents to make a difference in the lives of other people. In a nutshell, I'm a vessel for a much bigger message, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Let's get it. So, guys, as a bit of context, I've known Sam for quite a few years now. We went to the same school. He's 1 year younger, but we never really talked. I just kind of knew you were that guy who was putting in work with like soccer and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'll bet. He's doing his thing. And I was the guy with fitness. And I remember one time I went to your house actually for prom.
Yeah.
And that was the first time we made contact. And we were both into fitness and you were showing me like your pull-up bar and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, man, maybe this kid's okay. And then we met up later. I found out what he was doing and we've kind of been kicking it. So again, guys, none of these podcasts are ever scripted. This is just me picking Sam's brain as far as being a creator and ideally the value he can offer you guys who are maybe just beginning or starting on your journey. So again, I'm assuming most of you guys know Sam's journey, so I'm not actually going to be talking too much. I don't want to know too much about that. I kind of want to just know some like almost like behind the scenes stuff. So Sam, as a little bit of context, just tell them in like a little condensed thing, kind of like this story with soccer, pick waist, and how it led to speaking. Just running like a minute.
Yeah, not even.
Whole
life, I had a dream, as every kid does have dreams. I want to be a pro soccer player. Age 17, got a full ride scholarship. Lost the opportunity due to 3 knee injuries, 2 knee surgeries. Went down a really bad path as a student. Had a high school teacher who taught me a lesson about small, consistent actions. His name's Michael Loudfoot. And the purpose of his lesson was to prove that we can make a massive impact and he basically broke down the lives of figures in history and through their lives showed us that they all made a change by taking a small action consistently. I took that theory, applied it to picking up trash, led to an initiative called Pick Waste, where we pick up garbage for 1 hour once a week to test my teacher's theory. In the span of 2 years, we filled 1,300 bags of trash, got featured all over national news, started 4 volunteer teams across Canada, and that led me into speaking in schools. Teachers started calling saying, can you speak to our kids? It started as a 5-minute presentation, evolved into a 30-minute presentation. Now I'm a full keynoter, 60 to 90 minutes, and that's pretty much all I do.
I like it.
Yeah.
You had that on repeat, bro. You've said that quite a few times,
bit.
Eh? A little bit.
Usually it's like a 30-minute story, but
no, I know,
I don't like telling
honestly.
it every single time.
How many speeches have you said you've done kind of thus far, kind of touching on this story, but just I don't want to call them speeches. Like what would you call them? Talks?
Yeah, you call it a talk, call it a keynote. You can call it a presentation, an assembly.
How many overall would you say you've done?
Yeah.
Youth, adult, like just overall speeches.
Ballpark, like in an organized fashion where it's me and a sitting audience, probably like 150.
That's it?
Like around there.
Bro, I thought you'd be at like, that's weird. I thought you'd be at like 300 or 400 or something like that.
Well,
I've seen tons.
Yeah. Maybe I'm underestimating
I feel
it,
like it's been like at least like 2 bills, man.
Yeah,
at
probably,
least 200.
But around the 150,
sure.
200 mark.
Let's say 150, 200. Out of those 200, what would you say has been... All right, I'm going to ask 2 questions. The first thing that's caught you off, what did you least expect? And what did you most expect? Like when you talked, you're like, I kind of expected you guys would all do this. But then 2, like what threw you way off guard? Like what did you naturally have going into them? And what did you have to learn an F-load of? Otherwise you would sink.
Yeah,
that caught you way off guard.
Naturally, at my age, I was like, being a young person, they're going to love me. Yeah. And that's happened. Like, okay. I'm 20. I speak at university sometimes. They're 20. I become best friends with the audience afterwards. Same thing with high school and elementary kids. They're so young, very close in age, or close enough in age to be like, this guy could be my brother. Mm-hmm. So that's played off for me well. And it's something that I expected and was told by other speakers. Something that I didn't expect was half the jokes that I thought would be funny.
No one laughs.
Absolutely terrible, bro. Like no one laughed. So something I had to work really hard on was humor. Right. And in a school scenario, it's very important.
Right.
Because you can make kids laugh, you can grab their attention.
Right.
After they laugh and they shut up, that's when you inject the wisdom. So
Word,
that was something I had to definitely work on.
What would you say, like, with those humor things? Because, like, as I was off camera, what I was about to tell Sam is, for you guys, public speaking is something that is very near and dear to me, which I haven't really, I don't think, ever done, but it's something I want to do massively down the road. And Sam's obviously the best guy to speak to. For you, I know you said comedy, like you had some of these jokes that no one found funny. What were some of like your worst kind of moments where like it was just like it was so awkward, but like you had to save yourself and you busted like a quick like 1, 2, and it worked. Like what was like the best story, like the funniest story?
Yeah, so there's some like, to be honest, out of context of the whole speech, the jokes sound dumb.
Okay.
Like you have to be in the experience, hearing the whole story to really get the joke. There was this one joke I used to crack where I was basically talking about my teacher and his world issues class and how he was writing down these names of figures in history on his chalkboard. Mm-hmm. And then I'd pause my presentation and say, you know, I was doing this presentation a couple months ago in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And after I said the word chalk, this young girl raised her hand, interrupted me and said, Sam, what's chalk?
Okay.
And then usually none of the kids laugh and all the teachers laugh. Because it's like an adult joke, but it makes no sense out of context. Like it's not funny.
Right.
Like you don't get it unless you're in the story getting the whole.
Oh, that
thing.
Was pre-planned?
That's the joke. Yeah.
Oh, like you
but
told.
It makes, yeah. So this is part of it.
Okay.
The actual story happened.
Right.
Something to understand is that timelines in speaking are sometimes they're very switched. Like for example, I could say a few months ago I was doing this speech. I wouldn't go do a live speech and be like, 3 years ago I was doing a presentation in Vancouver and someone threw their hand up.
Right.
So you just change the date a little bit, but it's the same real story.
That's interesting. That's cool. I feel like you ever seen those like masterclass things?
Yeah.
Of like Gordon Ramsay for cooking. I honestly I feel like you should have one with speaking.
Maybe, bro, in the future.
Yeah. I feel like you know a ton about speaking that like maybe you don't even know because like you've been doing it so much.
Yeah.
Or like people don't like you have to like someone has to ask you a question to realize yourself like, oh wow, I actually do know quite a bit about speaking.
Yeah.
Like it's only through teaching that obviously we learn.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the jokes real quick. So that's one that was like really terrible. There's another one I talk about when I went to a house party in the States when I was on my official visit for soccer.
Nice. And
I go there and at like 10:30, we show up to the party. At 11:30, I lose all the athletes in the crowd. At 12:30, the floor breaks and it's like a movie scene. Okay. And then I wake up the next morning and I tell the crowd like, you know, I thought I was a funny kid growing up. So the head coach came over and he's like, hey Sam, how was your night? And I was like, Coach, to be honest, it was all good. It was great. And then at 12:30, it just fell apart.
Nice.
Stupid joke, bro.
That's kind of funny.
It crushes.
I would laugh if I was at the show.
It crushes.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Sick.
There's two shit jokes for you.
yeah. As far as I know, actually, this is like a question that I've had for a while. I know, obviously, the main goal right now and the main focus that you've been crushing is being like a youth speaker. I know that's kind of like in the bio, you know, youth speaker, which is awesome. I've actually wondered this. Do you ever aspire or want to do maybe speaking to non-youth, like people like our age? I don't know if you'd consider us youth, more millennials, I'd say, like adults, adolescents, or is youth kind of like the flex throughout, or is that kind of like up in the air? Yeah,
so it's funny because I identify with it right now, but you know, your purpose and your passion is always ever evolving and changing. Mm-hmm. You know this firsthand.
Bro.
Dude, I put on the youth hat right now until it doesn't fit. So the moment I'm like, you know what, this is cool, but I see myself doing something different, I'll snap my fingers and I'll pivot. That's actually funny you asked that because about 3 weeks ago, I opened up a conference for this guy named Richard Robbins, big real estate dude in Toronto. Nice. First time speaking in front of adults in a very long time, got a standing ovation. And had all these real estate agents came up and were like, come back to our offices. That's awesome. I've booked a bunch of presentations in front of adults now, and I'm like, maybe I'm going to ride this wave a little bit because I had a lot of fun with it. I was cracking jokes that were a little bit inappropriate that I can't crack in the school
100%.
And stuff like that. So, yeah.
How many do you do a lot of, or have you done a lot of, man, I hate calling them speeches, but like have you done a lot of talks in front of adults, or has it just been like very, very foreign to you?
So I've probably done like up until the one I did a couple weeks ago, maybe like 4.
Really?
4 like serious ones.
Right.
Where it's like a big event, big speakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've done other ones where like it's a competition and the audience is like adults, but it's not the same. I'm not speaking to them. I'm like entertaining. That's different. Right. It's a different environment.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, because with, you know, ideally when I want to speak, it's more people kind of like our age. That's always what I've envisioned. People younger know, people older know. So I've wondered that to you, like, you know, the plan as far as that goes, because you can only speak to, I feel like you can only speak to like so many kids until you're like, you know what, I've helped you guys enough, but it's time to like, you know,
shift a little bit.
No, but that's awesome. I feel like a big reason you did that is probably because, or what I'm guessing is, they're the most malleable when they're young. You feel me? Like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. When they're young, you can create the most damage. I'm assuming that's kind of why.
That's like half of it. The other half is like, I'm so close in age that the relatability piece means that they're going to take my message to heart way more than someone 40 years old speaking to them.
100%.
So it's like they're very malleable at that age. At the same time, me being young makes them like 10 times more malleable than if it was a 40-year-old speaking. So it's like, one, it's an opportunity for me, but two, it's also like an opportunity to really impact them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Dang. All right. 11 minutes already. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, I feel like I want to talk about something else than speaking, because I feel like that's every interview you probably get asked about that, speaking.
I don't get like questioned on it though. Like, this is interesting. Usually it's like, what's your story, Sam?
Right.
And that takes up like 30 minutes.
Right. Okay. You know what? No.
Yeah.
Bet. All right. Cool. As far as, because again, man, this is more on you. Like, I'm genuinely interested as far as your story, but not like that. We have speaking. That's a massive part that you've dominated, that you've done pretty well in. So you've had, let's say, so far. Yeah. You've had, let's say, 200 talks. 200 or so. And I feel like you've gotten pretty solid at it. I'm thinking as far as like me doing the same video, you know, you've gotten pretty good at it. What are some other things outside of maybe speaking that you see down the road that maybe can tie back to Sam Demma? Like, what example? Clothing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Other things besides speaking.
Yeah. So
altogether.
That's a great question as well. And one of my mentors actually encouraged thinking about it, because speaking in itself isn't actually a business. You're just employing yourself. It's like, if I was to stop speaking.
I see what you're saying. I like that.
It's not a business. It's just like,
good mentor.
Shout
outs to you, buddy.
I'm just employing myself. It's Josh Ship. His name's Josh Ship. And essentially he said, dude, if you stop speaking, you don't make money anymore. You're going to go out of business. You can't survive.
It's very interesting how I brought up like the master class or something like that. Like, I think like long term, like that, as far as like a course or something like that, like how to teach.
Getting to it, bro.
How to teach people how to like speak, but is that
that's a possibility.
Right.
That might be too premature to create.
Right.
But there's
right.
What I was thinking was, I have a podcast right now. It's called Small Consistent Actions. It's like me answering questions students have. 10 years down the road, because this is a long-term game, 5-10 years down the road, I want to turn the podcast into this podcast will remain the same, but offer something through the podcast where it's a coaching programs for kids or students to create a vision for their life aside from academics.
Love it.
Because I found that like right now, if you ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They literally give you the title of a course.
Right.
Like, I want to be this or I want to be that. And it's something that's tied to school, and it doesn't have to be tied to school. So,
like a mentorship program.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Essentially.
Yeah, guys, because, you know, being a creator or an entrepreneur, whatever name you want to give it, it's always thinking about the next step, you know, because that's the thing too, right? Speaking, I know is like extremely lucrative, but it's almost like you want to get to a point, man, where you don't have to go to.
If I don't want to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you're sick?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
what if I lose my voice?
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a singer. It's amazing for him to go on tour and sing, but like, what if he just wants to release songs and have that kind of fly?
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of asking. Like, what's your next song?
Yeah, bro. So there'll be courses, merch.
I love that.
Aside from those two things, I'm going to dabble in real estate.
Nice.
Over the next 10 years, I'm hoping to buy 5-10 different properties and rent them all out.
Complex is like apartments almost, eh?
About like a duplex, man. Like one of my mentors named Brock said to get a bungalow with a basement. You can put someone in the top floor, someone in the basement.
Well, that's what we were going to do before we moved, actually. Yeah. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
As far as mentors go, let's speak a little bit about that, not asking about like their names or anything.
Yeah.
How important do you think mentors are? Like, if you didn't have these mentors, where would you be at?
Dude, I can't even answer that question. I'd probably be like some like bum, to be honest with you, because every time I've had a struggle, a question, almost all the things I've learned were from phone calls. Like, I've invested lots of money in courses and they've helped me a lot. But aside from the phone calls, the high level things that I've learned or big takeaways or things that have made me 10% better or 1% better all came from free phone calls that I had with people that I really respected. And it's funny because when people think about mentorship, they think about, you know, the Karate Kid and you go and you whack some guy's car. It's like, it's not like that. You're not going to find this person and be like, can you be my mentor, sensei? Like,
right.
It's not that. It's not weird. It's like a friendship.
It's a very natural, progressive thing. Yeah. Like an older brother, almost. I kind of think.
Like, I'll tell you, there's one guy I met who emceed an event I spoke at. And he really liked to talk and gave me his phone number. And he's like, call me. And I made a point. I was like, yeah, I'm going to call you. So the next day I literally called him. We had a 4-hour phone call.
I believe it.
Because I told this guy on the phone, I can't be a youth speaker. There's not enough schools to speak at. There's not enough opportunities. I'm not gonna make enough money. Not that it's about money, but you have to be financially stable.
100%.
I was like, I'm not gonna make. And he stopped me dead sentence.
Yeah.
He's like, pull out a piece of paper, a pencil, a computer, and a calculator right now. And I was like, okay.
Bet.
And then he's like, go on Google and search how many schools are there in Ontario. And it was like 12,000.
Oh, dude.
He's like, dude, how many gigs you want to do? How many gigs you want to do a year? I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. Say like, he's like, okay, you don't know how many gigs? How much money do you want to make? And I was like, I want to charge $1,000 a speech. He's like, how much would you want to make in your first year? I was like, dude, if I make $10,000 in my first year, that'd be amazing, bro. Amazing. He's like, perfect. That means you have to speak once every, and he's like, I don't know, every certain amount of weeks. And he's like, hey, that's unrealistic. Let's say you had a $100,000 salary. You'd have to speak twice a week. Mm-hmm. He's like, if you spoke twice a week in Ontario, there's 10,000 schools. You'd be over 100 before you hit every single school.
Yeah.
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 I kind of blanked.
So I was like, yeah, because there's 100 schools. There's 10,000 in Ontario, 100 every single year. That's 100 years.
Yeah, man.
So I was like, dude, that's insane. He's like, now search how many schools there are in Canada. And he's like, you think that's a big number? It was like 40,000 or something. Mm-hmm. He's like, search how many schools there are in the States. And it was like 160,000.
At least, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, dude. And like that main phone call was like the reason why I took the business side so seriously.
100%.
Like, this is actually a possibility. And that was just a free phone call. So if
that's massive.
There,
Give a quick tip then to people out there who are looking for mentors. Like, what do you think is like one of the fastest or kind of most efficient or natural organic ways to almost like find a mentor like that? Because I know how important mentors are, man. And a lot of times they can be tricky to find, or they hit you kind of like left field like that. Yeah. What would you say is maybe like a tip someone can go out looking for mentors?
Yeah,
without being weird.
So first of all, you have to know what you're looking for. So if you don't have a clear vision for your life or what you're trying to do, you're not going to find the proper mentor. Because I had to put myself in a position where I was speaking at a speaking competition. The mentor was the judge of that competition. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't like, yo, I want to be a youth speaker, yo, let me go compete in this contest, I would have never met the person. So whatever it is, or whoever's listening, first of all, determine like what aspect of your life do you want to improve, and then go to spaces where people improve that aspect of their life. And I would say that's like the most important thing. Aside from that, you have to put yourself out there. So, go to events that like basically improve that area of your life that you want to improve. You'll find the people there. I would also say, I think that's the main thing.
No, man, that is the main thing. Like what I've noticed myself with mentors, one of my favorite quotes is, when the student is ready, the teacher arises. Yeah. And when the student's really ready, the teacher disappears. I think the first step with anything, before a mentor comes, you can get kind of philosophical about this. You have to take the first step first. Yeah. And whatever that is, like if you don't show life, like, yo, buddy, like I'm actually putting in work, life's not going to send you a resource or aid. There's no reason, there's no incentive to. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of times I've noticed myself, mentors, guys, can be physical, they can be tangible, they don't have to be tangible, it can be over YouTube. I'm sure you have tons of mentors that were books.
Dead people, bro.
David Data, like all these guys, right? They always come right in need, and they come when you're in need. You know what I mean? They never come when like life is super easy. Yeah. Like why would they? So and
you have to be looking for it too, right?
No, it's all intention. It's all intention. I'm just looking for the cameras to make sure that they're all gonna be good. Okay, dope. Let me Okay, awesome.
That was pausing, yo. Is it good?
No, that's good. I can chop this. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so just took a quick little 20-second intermission. We are back now on the Creator Chats podcast. So I think the next thing, I want to ask Sam, and again, none of these are planned. You guys know that. I do not have a pen and paper. Do you see one? No, sir. Something that I've wondered for a while now, because you've been running, doing the tangible talks, speech. Like for me, with what I do, I always think, and I think this is just very natural with the kind of guys we always think like 10 steps ahead. Where for me, it comes back to, you've impacted like tons of people right now with the schools, thousands, right? To me, I'm genuinely wondering for you, and I think you're wondering this too, whether this is 3-5 years down the road, what's the next step, or is there a next step as far as YouTube and social media goes? Like I'm talking like you take people on YouTube, you're doing a talk there, whether that hits, not so much the amount of schools you go, the tangible places, but more so just the reach. Does that make sense?
Stuff. Yeah.
Like, yeah, what's kind of your take on YouTube? Do you plan to do that? Screw that? Like, what's...
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because we were just talking about the gear you had beforehand, so I was like wondering. I was like, "What, are you gonna run it?"
Yeah, I actually have a bunch of people who are telling me to start making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about doing to get my foot in the door is I already record podcasts in my closet.
Let's get
I'm
it.
gonna move my setup to an open area, set up my camera while I do my podcast,
Cool.
and just record a video version while I'm recording the audio.
Love it.
And then start by just releasing those on YouTube as well.
I love it, bro.
To start, and then in the future I'll probably vlog a little bit, but I'm not really a guy that likes to vlog. I don't like vlogging too much. I might do like one vlog.
There's got to be a purpose to it, eh?
Yeah.
No,
it has to be
100%.
purpose, so
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm gonna start with the podcast episode.
I think you're sorry guys, getting over a cold. Yeah, I think that'd be dope, recording your podcast. I think just your life behind the scenes would be really interesting to people. So whether you're going to speeches or talks or whatever, like literally like think of a day in the life of you're 21, 20.
Yeah.
Shit. Not even 21, like a day in the life of a 20-year-old speaker. Like I've never heard of that in my entire life. I see I see that being awesome. Vlogs behind the scenes, just kind of more in your life, because it's like when you really love someone, right? Let's say I've attended 20 of your speeches, right? Let's say you're Tony Robbins or something like that. And I've attended like 20 of your shows, but I want more of you. I want more of Sam. Like I want more of just like, dude, like what do you do though in your free time? Like, what do you do when you don't speak, you know? Because I think a lot of people, to be honest, like they know you so well from your professionalism of speaking, but it's almost like that hits a point where it maxes out and you're like, for me to get to like the next level, I need to know you deeper. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like that's how I always think.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because I want to do tons of podcasts, speeches, whatever you want to call them. But it's like, I want you to like me for me, which I know they do. I know they like you for you. And personally, like that's why I love some of my favorite artists, like Russ. Like like I'll go to your shows, but it's like I just like, you feel me? Like I just like you, man. Like I don't give a fuck if you perform in front of no one, dude. Yeah. And I feel like that way, you've not only capitalized your audience, but now you can, bro. You don't even have to speak, bro. You want to write a book in Mongolia? You have X thousands of people, bro, that you can run with. Yeah, bro. What are your thoughts on writing a book? 'Cause that's actually another goal I have.
That's actually funny, bro. I was literally at a conference in London like 2 weeks ago called CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers.
Nice.
Just surrounding myself with a bunch of people that do what I'm trying to do. And there was this guy named Alvin Law. He has no arms. He uses his feet for everything. Really? And he wrote a book, and he basically told us, like, if you're a speaker, like, you need a book. Like,
well, they go hand in hand.
He's like, dude, like, you're trying to tell people you have something to say, but you don't have a book.
Word.
And I was like,
100%, man.
Shit, dude.
Because you always see in the bios, like, writer, author, speaker.
Yeah.
And they're one thing, and, like, you've got the speech down pat, man. I think, like, I feel like I'm almost life telling you to chill out. Like I'm saying, like, dog, you've put in your work. Like, let's start creating, like, systems and things, like you said, man. Like whether that's the course or like just vlog, just things. Like the other side. Like you've done so much of your front end
to build a business.
Yeah, bro. Where like for me, it's like it's actually the other way around. Like I've done so much groundwork that I feel like it's now my time. Why do you think I'm doing this fucking show right now? Like now is my time to be like, this is what I know. Like let me show you. Like we were literally like flipped like opposites. You're peanut butter, I'm jam. Like you're day, I'm nut. Like you get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm telling you to like dog, chill out. Come up with those book ideas because you'd kill it, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And you wouldn't have to work a day in your life. Like, dog, you just go to Miami for like 6 months and just.
If I want to.
If you
love to work.
I know you. I know you love it, dude. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I would. Guys, comment down below. Sam, start vlogging, man. I know he doesn't want to, but like, let's do it. Eventually, get your own vlogger for you, bro. Your own cameraman, videographer. Yeah. All right, sick. 26 minutes. Not gonna be too much longer. I think it's kind of my gut telling me now. What would you say to anyone, kind of as like a wrap up, I guess, to anyone wanting, and maybe you've gotten this question a couple times, hopefully not, to anyone wanting to start speaking, what do you think is the most important thing? I'm not talking about like, oh, you gotta be good at your quick, funny jokes. Like, what's the most important intention, like the sentiment from which they have to come from, that you think is going to separate them and allow them to keep going? Because a lot of people, I feel like they speak, but the sentiment's not true. Same thing with podcasts, bro. A lot of people have podcasts, but it's the sentiment. Like, why are you saying this? So, like, what do you think to people just beginning, like, some good advice to them who want to speak?
Yeah, first of all, like, you have to know who you're trying to serve what problem you're trying to solve, and what's your message. Those are like the three main things. I see so many people that have like 15 different speeches.
Right.
Dude, like, what are you trying to tell people? Like, what's the thing you're trying to, what's the advice or the help you're trying to leave them with? And if you're not clear on that thing, no one's going to buy your service and you're not going to be able to help many people because people won't buy it. And the reason they won't buy it is because it's not clear to them.
There's too many.
And a confused buyer never buys. And you have 50,000 options on your website. You're an expert in everything. Like,
right.
It doesn't work like that.
No, and you know what? That's actually something I had to learn the hard way, because I think a lot of us creatives, or whatever you want to call it, we're good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like being very humble, we're good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, and we want to help everyone with that. And one of my biggest things, or my challenges, has been really refining that. Like, it's awesome that you want to help everyone, but like we can't, you know, or at least
choose a niche
or
niche.
diversifying it. If you love soccer, man, but at least separate that.
Yeah.
You know, have your own business with Soccer Sam.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's been literally my biggest challenge. Yeah. Keep going though. So you're saying, pick your audience, pick your thing. And your thing was, I'm kind of like using you as an example. Like, your thing was more so your story and consistent actions as far as.
So everything in my speech ties back to the fact that, like, it's about small actions done over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also that piece about overcoming adversity, but that's more of just like a motivational highlight.
Right.
The rest of the talk, if you've never seen it, but it's 60 minutes, it all ties back to that main point. Small consistent actions. Yeah.
So have a piece, and I'm learning this as we go. Like, I'm honestly asking this for myself.
Yeah.
Have like a thing about you almost.
What do you mean?
Like, have a thing that it comes back to. So have like a thing about you that it almost ties back to the speech.
And it doesn't even have to be you. Something that like a lot of people mistake is that they make themselves the hero in the story.
Okay.
So for me, it's like, I'm actually never the hero. For example, when I talk about, making a difference with pick waste, all the credit goes to Mr. Loudfoot. Mike Loudfoot's the hero of the story. Soccer, my coach was the hero of the story. The surgeon was the hero of the story. I talk about the fact that it's not just about taking a small action, but it's actually how long you take that action for that allows you to make the difference. The analogy I use is like, when I was a kid, I cut up my grandfather's cigarettes at the cottage, thinking that it would stop him from smoking. Little did I know he wouldn't stop in an instant moment, because change doesn't happen in an instant moment. The decision can happen in an instant moment, but the physical change takes time. The hero in that story, I don't say that afternoon I learned. I say that afternoon my grandfather taught me two very important things, because my grandfather was the hero of the story. The third story, I talk about dancing in Costa Rica. I learned how to dance. I danced with this girl. The hero in the story is this local girl from Costa Rica named Leda.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, if you can position yourself as the person who learned, you resonate with the audience because you're trying to teach them something.
Right. You're on the same playing field.
You can't be the teacher and then the students. You have to both be the students at the same time.
I like that.
That's
like,
cool. When you teach someone something, you don't teach them, just remind them.
Right.
That's how you should approach it.
Because I feel like if you're above them, even subconsciously, they're not gonna vibe you.
You can't preach.
Who's
at
this
anybody.
pretentious guy?
You can't preach at anyone. Do this, do that.
Right,
That's
right.
That's the classic motivational speech, man.
Right.
You need to do this and do that.
Right,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's just flashy.
Yeah.
It just looks good on paper.
Yeah.
Interesting. But if you actually want to move people,
you
gotta be on the same level as them.
on the same level.
I like that. What's your take on? I guess to finish it off, what's your take on vulnerability as far as speeches go?
It's
how much? If so, yes, no.
It's huge, very important. It has to be authentic. So you can't go up there and fake your emotions. And then the third thing I would say is, if you haven't dealt with the baggage, you shouldn't be talking about it yet.
Because someone's gonna call your motherfucking ass.
Not just that, it's like, it's unstable. Like, if you're talking about something that happened in your life that was very significant, but you're not fully healed from it, and you're opening up about it on stage, it's not a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, you can't preach overcoming something preach like the importance of like asking for help if you're not fully there yet yourself.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
100%.
So that's like an important thing to consider as well, about vulnerability, because everyone's been through a different life story. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man. I guess to really finish it off, because this is cool. Like, this is me actually now asking this stuff for.
We don't have to finish it off.
No, okay.
If you have more questions, just keep it coming.
All right, man.
But we can finish it if you want.
Yeah,
to.
man. No. I just when you're good, I don't want you to be bored or anything like that.
Nah, man.
That's dope, man. Good. I'm literally asking Sam, and hopefully this can be beneficial to you guys, advice on public speaking, because I think a lot of people, especially in our day and age, should know how to do this.
Yeah.
Whether this is your vocation, like it's what you're doing, like I think to an extent, whether it's your family dinner table, like you need to be able to speak with conviction. So to some people watching, what are like some, just because man, like I'm asking these things and you're digging them deep and quick.
Yeah.
You know, like what's some stuff to allow someone to be a better speaker quick? Like, is this like your fucking, your placement, your grounding, your ability to like set your ground? Like, is this your voice? Is this your ability to move? Like, is this looking directly in people's souls? Like what allows you to stand your ground and for people to take you seriously? Because I bet, man, like you did a good job, thankfully, but you know, you were a young guy that was going up against a lot of older heads, and easily you could have taken yourself like as a joke because these guys are like, what, 40 years old. How did you stand your ground quick and be like, yeah, I may be young, but I'm powerful?
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense.
What I tried to do is just illustrate one point.
Yeah.
So like instantly everyone was probably like really drawn in because I shut up.
Okay.
One of the most powerful things in speaking is pausing. So it's like, what I'll do right now is I'll give you a couple different tips. And the first one's pausing. It's like the replacement of a pause is a yeah. So like it's just natural.
Yeah.
But if you can shut up and just replace it with a pause, the audience just eats it, bro.
Eats it.
They just come alive. And it also makes you appear more thoughtful. It makes you appear more empowering. It makes you appear more engaged.
That's awesome.
Or thought through about whatever you're talking about. So replacing the filler words with pauses is a huge one.
Yeah.
It commands presence. I would also say eye contact. A lot of people when speaking in an audience will make quick darting eye contact, or when you're nervous, worst thing you can do is look at the ground. Or look at the roof.
Oh, man. If you look at the ground, I feel like I would not want to take your advice.
No. And the key with eye contact, which is why I like speaking, sometimes speaking to 100 kids is way better than speaking to 1,000.
Okay.
Because you can literally focus on every kid at one point. And what you need to do is stare at them in their eyes while you're talking until it gets a little uncomfortable. And then you switch people.
Right.
Because then they know you acknowledge them.
Right.
And now they're a part of your story. Which is a huge piece. They're not just listening, they're actually active. So I'd say pauses.
Very interesting.
Like this one. Yeah. I'd say eye contact.
Yeah.
And then just know your stuff, know your material, what you're talking about. Those things have helped me the most. I'd say if you can have someone who's also a speaker or aspiring to be one, watch you present and take notes. Every time you speak, it'll help you a ton. It'll shorten the learning curve.
I'm definitely when I start doing speeches, I'm gonna
call me, bro. I'll come out.
Yeah, bro. I'll get you on FaceTime or something.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And then in terms of going up against old farts,
these guys, buddies.
Yeah, these guys have been doing it for years.
Buddy.
I'd say the biggest advantage I have over them right now is my age.
Right.
The relatability piece is huge. I would also say the game has changed in terms of how we use technology. Like some of their websites are manually coded. Right. And it's tough to make a good looking manually coded website unless you're Steve Jobs or something, right?
Right.
So in terms of how I present myself on marketing online, my videos, all this stuff usually looks a little better than people who've been doing it for 40 years just because their materials are a little bit older.
And you know what the thing is too? You can almost switch, and I feel like this is why you or I, would have an advantage, especially with the demographic we're speaking to. I'm younger than you are. I'm more in tune with all these people than you are. And almost you can like switch that where it's like, you're the outcast, buddy. I'm not saying do that, like make anyone feel that way, but it's weird. Like if I'm speaking on what we're speaking of here, entrepreneurship or creativity or whatever the fuck you want to call this. And there's like a 50-year-old man. I'm saying this to you guys. I think it's not so much a matter of who's better or not. It's who can you make believe is better. You know what I mean? Because clearly the 50-year-old man could have run his business much longer and be way better. He could fucking kill me, man. Yeah. But if I can, like you do, like if I can flip the script and make it my own, if this makes sense, you can run it.
Here's the thing, man. With any service-based business, someone hires you for one of two reasons, or one person will hire you only for, I guess, 4 reasons. They've either seen your work and they love it. They've seen videos of your work and they love it. Someone they trust has seen your work and they love it. Or someone they trust has seen videos of your work and they loved it.
Right.
And they talk to each other.
Right.
Those are only 4 reasons. So what that boils down to is basically the person who's going to get the gig or the business is the person who appears superior.
I like that.
On their marketing.
Yes.
So marketing gets you the gig. Now here's the problem. If marketing gets you the gig and you show up and you under deliver,
right,
your business is not going to it's not going to succeed in
Right.
the long run.
Right.
If your marketing wins you the business, you show up and you crush it, people are going to continue to hire you.
100%.
So those are the two battles you're always facing. You know, your marketing has to be really good, and then your in-person performance has to be even better.
Over deliver.
Yeah, you
What's your take on
you'll
that?
you'll never starve, right?
I like that.
So-
And if you're beginning, like me as an example, right, as things build up, what would you say to me or to other people is realistically, you know, or fuck what's realistic, but what's like the best way to get your foot? And I hate using the word like get your footing because I know it's very subjective and it's different to every single person. But if I'm to speak to people right now, how did you kind of get your foot in and then through that things snowballed? Was this like schools at the beginning? Was this like reaching out to like a principal to be like, hey, I'd love to give my quick 1-2? Like, what was your take on that?
Yeah, so I called my principal, Michael from St. Mary, Mr. O'Neill as well from my elementary school. And I said, can I come speak at your elementary school and my old high school? I only need about 5 minutes. I was recruiting volunteers. If I could go back in time and know what I know now, here's what I would do differently. I would, call the same people, set up presentations. I would say, can I actually film the presentation? To start? Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have someone film the whole presentation?
Okay.
And in return, I'm not going to charge you any money.
Fair enough. I see.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So bring a camera, film the presentation, get 2 or 3 testimonials of principals and teachers and students while you're at your speech.
Yep.
After you do 1 or 2, take those videos, pop them on our website, davidhammond.com or davidspeaks.com.
I'm davidhammond.com. It's already up, bro.
It's already up? Okay, let's go.
Well, it's not up yet, but like I have the whole like thing ready, the book, everything. Yeah, bro.
Man. And then once your speaking has started and you've done a couple of speeches, put videos of you speaking online. All you need is videos of you speaking for people to see, testimonials for them to see what other people think of your speaking,
100%.
and then a contact form and a sign up, whether that's a newsletter, a book, whatever. And once you have those 4 things in place, you can call any principal and pitch your program.
So that was the main question. Was it like, do you call the principal? Is this like a school thing? Like
it's always different.
And even like with that, like how do you initiate that? Because like, what if they're not used to people coming in to talk? Like, what do you say? Can I talk? Like, can you imagine calling a family, like someone's mom, just be like, can I talk to you guys? Like,
well, here's the analogy, right? You never know when a school wants to bring in a speaker.
That's what I mean.
They only bring in a speaker once a year.
Right.
You never know if they've brought in one this year or not.
Yeah.
It's like real estate.
Right.
You never know when someone wants to buy a house. You
That's
never
true.
know when someone wants to sell their house. You never know when they're going to leave or come. It's very similar. So what you're basically doing is knocking on a door and then trying to convince them. So, for example, I'd call a principal and essentially either it's a call or it's a cold email with a video or something like creative. And I'd be like, hey, how's it going? Usually I get the receptionist who's the gatekeeper because the principal doesn't answer the phone.
100%.
Can't reach them. And I say, hey, like who in your school books presentations? They're like, oh, it's Miss Jones. Like, oh, perfect. Can you put me through? She puts me through her voicemail and I leave her a voicemail. Something along the lines of this. Hey, Miss Jones, what's up? Hope you're having an amazing day. Hope you had an even better weekend. My name's Sam Demma. I'm a 20-year-old TEDx and youth speaker. I travel around Canada speaking to thousands of students, specifically about how they can use their gifts and talents to make a difference in the lives of other people. I'm actually setting up a small speaking tour in your area, 4 or 5 schools. I have a message that I really think could benefit your students. And if this call sounds interesting at all, please shoot me a message back or email me at sam@samdemma.com. And I would love to have a discussion about how I could be of service to your school. Talk soon. Bye.
Got that on lock.
So there's like a little example. Now it changes in the area I'm in or what I'm doing or what I'm trying to arrange. But that's what it would sound like. And it's a pitch like that. It's not like, this is how much I charge. This is going to cost you this much money.
100%. It's for them. It's what's in it for them.
Exactly. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. I think the next thing would be, see, you have that on lock, but something that naturally and organically happened was, you found kind of your thing that you could use as ammo for that. You feel what I'm saying? For the speech, what would you do to people? And this is also where like I like letting things like play out, because as this grows bigger, you feel me? That is credibility. That I can say, hey, I have X amount, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done X, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Here's my work already. Can I come speak? What would you say to people?
At the beginning?
What do you mean?
Like before I have all the credibility? Or
So that's kind of what I'm asking. Like, let's say people don't have that credibility.
Yeah.
Like for you, it was pick waste.
Yeah.
Is kind of, right?
Yeah, it's a
for
piece
you,
of it.
For you, it was pick waste. For me, maybe this is YouTube. And as things grow like that, what would you say to people who don't necessarily have that credibility? Is it go get that credibility first? Is it run straight before that?
It's create a program that's valuable and solves a problem. So create a speech that addresses an issue and then sell the solution. Your speech is the solution. So you don't need to have like national news coverage and all TEDx, all this stuff.
Right.
Have a solution to a problem that's worth solving. Yo, Miss Jones, your school last year had 2 suicides. I created a mental health program that addresses this problem, and I can't guarantee you, but I can guarantee you it will lessen the impact. It will lessen the impact a huge amount in the next year, because here's what my program addresses. Boom, boom, boom. And you sell the presentation. You don't have to sell yourself. And to be honest with you, none of my sales calls start with, hey, you want to know all the things I've done? No one cares about you.
Exactly.
They only care about themselves.
Right.
So what I do before a call is I'll literally research the person. There's this guy named Sam Richter. He's a speaker from the States. He taught me some like hacks on Google to like find like high level information on people.
Yeah, I believe that.
In a pretty cool way.
Like the principals?
Yeah, principals essentially.
The people who are going to say yes or no.
Yeah. So essentially, like there's certain things you could search on Google. Like for example, if you put their first and last name in quotations, it will search the phrases and it has to have both words side by side. So if you're ever struggling to find a person, put their names in quotations, you'll typically find it. If you put their names in quotations, and like people are showing up from like Australia and Florida, you put their names in quotations + Toronto or whatever city they're from, they'll almost instantly pop up.
And then it's the accolades that they have. They've
done.
So
I'll browse their LinkedIn. Dude, the amount of things you can find on Facebook about people are crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had this call with this guy named Denny last week.
Yeah.
I went on his Facebook, saw that he liked golf.
Yeah.
Had a phone call with him. I was like, yo, Denny, I know you're a really busy guy. I don't like to waste people's time. I did a little bit of research on you before I had this phone call.
Right.
Guess what I found? And of course, everyone's going to be like, yo, what did you find, dude? And I was like, well, I saw that you studied technology in university, but now you're in real estate. Tell me about it.
Interesting.
And he went on for 15 minutes talking about real estate. And then he said, oh, and I'm just about to leave for Florida. And I know people golf in Florida. He's old. Oh, Florida. Do you golf in Florida? Dude was like, dude, I love golfing in Florida. He went on a whole tangent, talked about himself for like 25 minutes. By the end of it, then he's like, Sam, tell me what you do. And when someone asks you that, now it's like you just got permission to be like, yo, this is what I do. I create this program, boom, 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 boom. And by the end of it, they love you. People buy from people they like.
Right.
By that point, he's like, dude, let's go. Let's book this beach.
That's
so it's
smart,
like
man.
when you're starting out, yo, make them talk about themselves.
Yes, yeah.
Until they give you permission and be like, okay, enough about me. Like,
100%, 100%. And it's usually the person that... It's the one person that you know is going to be the gatekeeper.
Yeah, so you get the gatekeeper, which is the receptionist.
Okay, yeah.
Then you're like, who books speeches? They're like, principal, put me through the voicemail.
Okay.
Or they're like, Miss Jones, teacher, put me through to Miss Jones.
Yeah.
Or you can even try and supersede the schools and hit up superintendents.
Okay.
A lot harder. Right,
that seems
But if you get a superintendent that loves you, she'll be like, yo, I'll give you like 15 presentations.
Right.
Go to all my schools.
Right.
I have a school board in Ottawa that last year booked me for 5 schools at a tour. This year I'm doing 3. And it seems like they're just going to keep bringing me back each year. So if you can get in with an actual board and the superintendent buys in, then you're pretty much set.
But you're saying the main takeaways are the person you know who's going to say yes or no, do a bit of research on that person.
Yeah.
Or at least let them know everything you can offer them. And it's just all about them. And that's kind of like a life tip with a lot of things in life, whether it's a presentation, a relationship, right?
Be interested, not interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to get from it? From this podcast, as an example, like you don't start off saying, hey guys, what's going on? Make sure before anything you subscribe, you hit this, you do this, buy this down below, because it's coming back to what I said. It's the sentiment from which you come from.
Yeah.
And I feel like they can really feel that. That's awesome, man. That's really good. What would you say? Because personally, like for me, I don't ever really see myself speaking too much in schools per se.
Yep.
My thing would be more so, at least what I'm envisioning, more kind of think like creative, I want to say groups or like stages and shows that are more so for, you could use the word creators or entrepreneurs, things like that, opposed to less like school based, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Do you see yourself, I'm sure you've already done that, but do you see yourself doing that, maybe heading that, or is schools?
It'll be, I'll shift into the corporate world and do like companies and businesses. I don't know if I'll shift into entrepreneurship as much. It'll probably mostly be like business people.
Right.
But the processes are the same, except the gatekeeper is different. That's
exactly,
the only thing.
yeah.
And the budgets change. But aside from that, it's the sales process is all the same. It's like be interested in the other person, make them talk about themselves first, and then pitch what you have to offer.
100%.
Yeah.
And what would you say is the ratio, I guess, now, and especially from when you began to now, that they hit you up?
Yeah.
Where you don't say anything, and Like, what would you recommend? Ideally, it's when they hit you up, but kind of give me a bit of context on that.
Yeah,
the
so
dynamic.
the world of speaking is interesting because no one knows you at all. No one knows what you have to offer. No one knows you exist.
Right. Right.
And so I would say even like the first 2 to 3 years, you have to do all the legwork. Like you have to go out there and book the gigs and get the gigs and ask for the referrals. After about 2 or 3 years, people are talking to their peers. Oh, last year we had in this person and he was amazing. And then their friends start to book you. But that doesn't happen right away. So at the beginning, I was getting almost no incoming leads or people filling out my contact forms that actually turn into a booking. Now I'd say I get maybe like 1 or 2 every month through the contact form, and the rest I actually just hustle and still book.
Okay.
I got to a point where I've been offered a couple spots on agencies or like bureaus, which basically will find gigs for you, line you up, and take a percentage.
Right.
That comes later in a career. A bureau will never approach you until you don't need them. Because it's a business.
Right.
It's a business.
Right.
They
100%.
They also have an interest in making money off you.
Of course.
Or making you a better speaker, but they won't come to you when you have 0 gigs. It's funny because at the beginning when you have none, you're like, I want to join every bureau. And every bureau's like, hell no, bro.
Yeah.
And then you're at a point where you're like, I'm comfortable. And then they start knocking.
100%.
So that's like another way that you'd get incoming leads, but it's almost all about legwork.
That's very interesting. I do see myself starting off in schools though. And for very different reasons. It's not, the same thing.
It's a great place to
Sam
start.
Demma and I head against head, eh?
Dude, there's a lot of speakers, man. Trust me.
Oh, trust.
There's so much schools. So.
Yeah, man. Because I actually find that really cool how I know we're on this podcast right now, but I've always been inclined, so I'm saying this now because like I was for like 15 minutes I was being the student to you, so now I feel like I'm kind of like thrown off a little bit because this usually doesn't happen, but I'm happy, man. Like I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but like you guys need, kind of going back to mentors. There are mentors all around you at all times, excelling at different crafts. If you want to be a better cook, right? If you want to be a better singer, you want to be a better dancer, there are always mentors around you. The only thing you have to make sure is that you listen. Yeah. Because I feel like that's the biggest hurdle that a lot of people went to. It's an ego thing. It's a pride thing. You feel me?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes is, what was it? In life, you can be a fool. Asking a question, you can be a fool for a man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, but a man who asks no questions is a fool for life.
Yeah.
Right.
That's facts.
So that's why, guys, for me, like I'm honestly interested in, as far as being a speaker goes. I will listen to someone who's done it, regardless of the age, regardless of how long. Like you listen, in any field, people around you know their things. So that was very interesting for myself because I'll definitely be talking to you more about this, man. Because it all comes full circle, dude. Yeah. Like everyone's better at different things, and I preach this, man. Like mentors don't have to be some grandiose 50-year-old Asian guy with a bucket hat.
No, it's true.
It can be super simple. So I think we're gonna finish there because I see that camera's about to die. So we're at 50 minutes. That was awesome, guys. I really hope, and I know you guys got a ton out of that. I hope that was fun for you.
That was dope, bro. Yeah.
That was awesome. I could see like you were pretty lit up. You seemed like pretty stoked with it. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that helped. Hope you guys got some value from it. Of course, all Sam's links are down below. And with that, guys, we will all speak to you soon. So thank you. Until then, much love. Peace.